Welcome back, folks, to the Stockwell Eldridge Show. We're getting a little later in the day, so we're getting a little more pumped up, and that's some great music.
Yeah.
I'm Jason with Remax Results.
And I'm Dawn with Remax Results.
Don Doty brought up a great point in the break. What do you do about buyer's remorse? So this segment will be about buyer's remorse, which happens to everybody. I think there's a psychology behind it that no matter what you buy, at some level you have a little bit of buyer's remorse, whether you know it or not, essentially, or whether it's a big remorse or not. And it's up to 3 days after you actually make the transaction. So that's why if you know about certain things, you have a cancellation policy, and that cancellation policy is usually within the first 3 days or something like that. On second mortgages or HELOCs and refinances and things like that. So how do you handle that? Because in this competitive market as a buyer, you go in multiple offers and you overbid, which is many times you have to get the property. And you experience buyer's remorse. Did I do the right thing? Mm-hmm. Did I buy the right one?
Or am I paying?
Am I overpaying?
Yep.
Can I really afford this? I don't know. And this is going on multiple times with clients right now as we speak, with my clients, Dawn's clients probably.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And we're the buffer of that, trying to not make someone buy, but if they want to buy, show them that, yes, this is the scenario. Yes, there's risk to everything, but how do you get through that? And I don't know, what do you think, Dawn, and how would you get through buyer's remorse, or what do you think is a good way for buyers when they're going through it? Because there's probably buyers out there right now, or sellers. Hey, did I sell it too quick? Did I sell it too low? Should I have waited for a better offer?
Yep.
All these things.
Yep, I've seen that too.
I had one this morning in Bloomington.
A seller or a buyer?
A seller.
Yeah.
I did a time of sale in Bloomington. I said, and I always say, just to put people at ease so they don't think, the big bad inspectors, the big bad wolf. I always go, so you're selling your house. These people were in their 70s. They've been there 52 years.
Wow.
She wanted to sell. He didn't, because he had a nice heated garage and all the tools and stuff. So I said, well, where are you moving to? And then they told me, kind of a townhouse deal. And he's in tears. He's crying.
Really?
So, I have to talk to him. I set him down on the couch and I said, you got a big yard you're mowing, try to, tell him that there's a better way. And so, this is what you do as a person. I don't care if you're a home inspector, a real estate agent, you have to take that time. And if somebody's really hurting because they miss the house.
Right.
So,
well, hopefully
how
they
do you
can
deal
be
with
friends with the people that buy, and then they can come and visit.
Yes.
I see that happen often. But,
oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
Well, sometimes, I suppose.
Sometimes it doesn't always work out that way. I've seen the opposite as well.
Depends on the people.
With, first of all, buyer's remorse, or I call it more anxiousness. If you're not anxious when you're buying a house, it's completely normal to be that way. Even when I buy property myself, I get a little anxious. Yeah. And then you always worry. Like, what if I find a different house that I like better or something?
Do you think that it's a good idea before you start showing them houses to sit them down and say this is normal? And
I actually do have that conversation with buyers that I work with. I talk to them about the market. I talk to them about it's a market that you're going to want to move fast on. So as we walk through the house, we talk about things if it's a house they have interest in. And I have had clients actually walk away from transactions during the inspection timeline because they decided that was not the right house for them. And, nobody wants you in the wrong house. As agents, our goal is to get you in the right house that you're going to love. I also see often people get worried that, especially in multiple offers, well, what if I'm paying too much? Well, there has to be an appraisal. And if there isn't an appraisal contingency like we were talking about before, the lender cannot loan to you if the property doesn't appraise. So I kind of walk through that process with them as well. And usually when they go back in for the walkthrough, then they're really excited. So if you get them back into the house just to double check all of their, because clients that we shared were feeling a little bit of buyer's remorse too. And once we got them into the house and they saw how everything turned out, they were ecstatic.
And part about buyer's remorse is that if your goal is to buy a home, you're looking with an agent. The agent wants to help you, right? We don't want to force you to buy something that you don't want, or we don't want to force you to buy something that's out of your budget. And here's the only time I've ever seen issues with it or heard about issues with it is if a buyer does not speak up or actually share how they're feeling or what their thoughts are with their agent, because the agent will help you. So if you're saying, "Oh, I'm buying this home and I don't really want to buy it, but I've written the offer now and now I feel bad and I don't want to say anything to anybody." So you just go. So here's what you got to think about: is it's you. You're on the hook for that. The agent isn't going to be there paying the mortgage or doing the maintenance or mowing the lawn or anything like that. Yeah. You're on the hook for that. It's your deal. You have to want it and know that the responsibility is there once you buy it. One, the responsibility to pay for it and the mortgage, and two, the responsibility to keep it up and everything like that. And if it's not something you want, speak up and share. And maybe through that dialogue, you'll find a way to get through it and still buy it. Maybe it's something that you're worried about that maybe isn't a big issue, or you can work out. Or maybe, like Dawn said, sometimes maybe it is best to back out and just cancel and move on and find something else. Just because it's a crazy market, just because you have to be very aggressive as a buyer, doesn't mean you have to just buy one to buy one.
Right.
You want to buy one that you want,
Right.
and be stuck with it, or not be stuck with it, but you will be stuck with it actually for a while, because you'll have to. You're buying it. You're the owner, So I had one. This is way early on in my career. Quick story, 2005, I think, or something like that. And the buyer is all approved. We found a home in Apple Valley, townhome. We're all through inspection. Loan is approved. Everything's good. And we did the final walkthrough, and everything went great. And we're at the closing at 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock on that day in Bloomington. And the lender's there, and everybody's ready. The sellers are there, and we're all like, okay. And the buyer's doesn't show up. Isn't there. He's late. So I'm calling, texting, and he's not showing up.
Ruh-roh.
And the lender's reaching out, not showing up. And finally, it gets to be quite enough time where we're all like, well, no one's heard from him. Maybe something bad happened, or we don't know. So we all just had to postpone and wait. And finally, I think a day or two later, we finally heard from him, and he said he no longer wants to buy the home, and he's okay losing his earnest money. He just wants to walk away. His earnest money was $1,000. So the sellers, for all that, exactly, not enough. So a tip for sellers, if you can, especially now in this market, you can negotiate stronger.
Yep.
Get higher earnest money, and also maybe do a couple little other things on the earnest money. Hey, maybe it's non-refundable after a certain point. Maybe there's some way to protect you, because you don't want to wait 30, 45, 60 days, get to the end, and then have it fall through, and now you're starting over, and you don't know what's going to happen. And luckily, we're still in a good market where it'll still sell again, but now you start the process over again. Now you got to have an inspection again.
Yep.
Now you got to negotiate a sale again.
Yep.
Now, I mean, so there's a lot. So try to get a high enough earnest money that if worst case happens, they walk away, you're at least left with something to recoup the cost, especially if you've already moved out. They had already moved out. I felt really badly. So nothing I could do about it. He didn't communicate anything with me. So
Right.
So anyway, that's some tips on buyer's remorse. You're going to experience it, or seller's remorse. You're going to experience it.
Yep.
Just know that we as agents, at least, are on your side to help you no matter what your choice is. And we're not there to push you or drive you into a home or make you buy a home. That's why you have candid, open conversation about how you're truly feeling and what's really going on and what questions you really have. And don't be afraid to ask the questions, even if they may be something that we can easily answer as agents. You still should be asking them if you don't know the answer to them. So we're here to help. 651-400-0773, 651-400-0773. I'm Jason Stockwell with Remax Results.
And I'm Dawn Eldridge with Remax Results.
Don Doty, Home Place Inspection.
Remember, everybody, love yourself and love others. Have a great week. Bye.
In the middle of our house, it has a crowd. There's always something.